What did you feel when you think that a temple is actually going to be constructed in Abu Dhabi?
It's been referred to as the Cinderella fairy tale because it was unthinkable, especially in Abu Dhabi.
The Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, he's coming down specifically for the inauguration of the temple. How are you preparing for the whole event?
It's fantastic. The UAE has one of the largest Indian populations of expats. They're all excited.
Women have limited roles in the construction and management of Abu Dhabi Hindu Mandir project.
False, absolutely false.
And what are the activities planned? I hear you have a long schedule for the month of February, starting from tomorrow. Welcome to Women of Wonder by Reema Mahajan, or Wow Women as we lovingly call it. This podcast celebrates the stories of empowered and ambitious women offering inspiration to us all. I'm your host Reema Mahajan, and today we are joined by two distinguished guests, Sonali ji and Prem ji. Sonali, once a managerial accountant, now dedicates her life to education and community service, enriching the lives of her children and the wider community through her volunteer work at the Mandir. Prem ji brings her project management skills to support the Mandir's development and contributing significantly to its growth and outreach. Together, they exemplify the spirit of services and community engagement. Join us as we explore their individual journeys, the impact of their work, and the lessons they've learned along the way. Welcome to the podcast, both of you ladies.
Thank you very much
for having us.
It's a pleasure, and I think it's a dream come true for me to host this podcast. Right from the day, from the first step I took inside the Mandir when we visited it last week, to see it, nearing completion and getting there. I would love to start with your journey early on. How did both of you get associated with the BAPS Abu Dhabi Hindu Mandir project? And I'd love to learn your early stories.
Well, my journey started, I was born into a Hindu family that predominantly went to the Mandir. But at the age of 12 in London, they were going to launch the largest traditional Hindu temple in the Western Hemisphere. And at that time I was 12 and I thought, I'd like to contribute to this. So I started doing paper rounds and thinking, okay, that will be my little bit of service towards the Mandir. Fast forward many years, I decided to move to Dubai. The one thing that mattered to me was, now that I had children and the culture and religion, I thought I'd love to live in Dubai, but the one thing I will miss is actually going to the Mandir and having that connection, especially for my children. But it so happened I arrived here. 6 months later, I'd heard the news that they were going to actually begin thinking about making a Hindu Mandir in Abu Dhabi. And that was it for me. And I just knew that this is why I'm here. I can help contribute to the service and bringing communities together. So that's how I've ended up at this point.
Beautiful. And Sonali ji, what about you?
So my dad was actually an atheist, but we were blessed enough that he was helping out. In fact, funnily enough, it is linked to the London Mandir as well. He was traveling a lot between Bombay and London at the time. And one of his closest friends was a devotee of the BAPS. And so he just requested him to bring things back and forth because he was traveling so often. And at the opening of the temple, when our then guru, Pramukh Swami Maharaj, had come to London for the opening, his friend said, you know what, please come and have his darshan since you did so much of Sewa without knowing that it was Sewa, My dad wasn't very keen, but he went. And when he went, he had a darshan of our guru. And I think in his case, when your soul is ready, when the calling comes, that was the thing. Within 2 years, he had completely changed his entire lifestyle. And he then said, you know what, my kids and I will follow this. He gave my mom the option to follow the religion she was following, but eventually she's like, it doesn't make sense. We were a nuclear family in the UK. And so that's how I started at the age of 8. Okay. And so since then, that's what my life's been. Since getting married here, fortunately, I was lucky enough to get married into a family that also believed in the BAPS fellowship. So my journey has continued, and my father-in-law was the chairman of the BAPS Hindu Mandir at the time of his passing. So our family has been very involved in the entire project.
You were very involved when the project was launched, isn't it? What were the first feelings? Is it like a dream coming true? What did you feel when you think that a temple is actually going to be constructed in Abu Dhabi?
It's been referred to as the Cinderella fairy tale because it was unthinkable, especially in Abu Dhabi. We always thought that it might be Dubai, where it might happen, you know. In 1997, when our Guru Pramukh Swami Maharaj said a prayer for a temple in the region, he mentioned Abu Dhabi, and everybody was not entirely convinced that, it would happen there. But fast forward 25, 27 years, and here we stand. And personally, as a family, my in-laws have been here for over almost 60 years. So for them to see the transition of not even being able to invite the saints to visit the region, to now being able to stand at the opening of this huge gift that they have given us.
It's been a beautiful journey indeed. I want to move on to our next section, which is all about busting myths. You know, people from outside have a lot of misconceptions about BAPS, about being Hindu, about opening a temple in the desert. So there are some statements. You can tell me if they're true or false, and you can give me your point of view on those. Volunteering for a religious project only benefits those of the faith.
False, absolutely false. I think having the mandir here benefits people of all faith, the volunteer, the charities, the idea that humanity can come together irrespective of your faith and your background, and you can come and unite in such a wonderful project is what is bringing humankind together. And that's what this mandir is about. Humanity, harmony and peace.
Beautiful. The second myth is that women have limited roles in the construction and management of such projects.
So this is again absolutely untrue, because if you were to come to site right now, you would see that there are equal number of women as there are men helping out in the construction of the temple. What I would like to say is that for every department that we have, there is a male lead and a counter female lead. So there are equal positions, equal roles given, especially, and certain departments like the media, like the outreach, the women are the more taking a more leadership role, and they are the more powerhouse aspect, they bring to the whole project. So it is a myth, definitely, that is not true, because for every single department, there is a counter female department running.
Absolutely, I would agree with it. On my numerous visits to the mandir, I have always seen the ladies in charge so meticulous about their roles, playing their roles to the fullest capacity in everywhere they are around. So, and we have two empowered ladies on the show from the temple. So I think that breaks all the myths. Next myth for you, Premji, is large community projects like the mandir are fully funded and really don't need any volunteer support.
False again. We need as much support as possible. The important thing is so much of this done on volunteerism. So it's people's, aspirations, the feelings from their heart where they donate. This isn't a business organization. This is pure love and people that want to put into the future for their families and their future generations. So when there's donations that come in, it is the idea of community and harmony again coming through, and people thinking about the future generation. So it's definitely, we want as much help and support and volunteerism as possible. Thank you.
And in addition to donating time and Sewa, what are the other big volunteer donations you've seen at the temple?
There's been people that have been so touched by it. So you've got monetary donations, but the one that matters most is the time for us, the time and the seva of speaking about what this represents. And it's a bigger message there.
Yes, and spreading the word and sharing it with more and more people so that the message is there.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Next one for you. Spiritual communities are closed off and don't welcome newcomers.
That's definitely an untrue myth. I think this temple is definitely a testament to that, even before it's built. We've had so many different communities get together, and we've all joined together to achieve a single goal. And in terms of, yes, obviously when you enter a new place, you will feel a little uncomfortable. But from my personal experience, when we moved to South Africa, we were a nuclear family, as I mentioned earlier. We had no one else. So our family actually became the temple, the local temple. And we have this sort of drive where even students in universities in the US, they get together so that they can keep the culture together. And so it's not it's not closed doors at all. We want everybody to be involved, from volunteering to being a part. And I think having a temple in this region gives us an opportunity to feel that there is a place where we can go to and retain our identity for our future generations.
Yes, it's all about teaching our kids what culture and tradition mean, isn't it? And I think Sewa can be done by any religion. It doesn't matter
Absolutely.
which religion you belong to, as long as you have the right feelings. Moving on to our next one. Do you need a lot of free time to contribute meaningfully as a volunteer? I'm very busy. I have a busy work schedule. I'm a mom. I have 3 kids. You know, women especially have these questions. How do I manage my home? How do I go manage my work and volunteer at the temple?
Well, I mean, I can only give from my own example. I'm a deputy head teacher of a prominent British school. My role is very demanding. I also am a mother of 2 teenagers. That in itself is demanding. I do coaching, leadership, executive coaching. That's demanding. But in that, I carve out the time for what matters. And whether that's doing Sewa in the evening, giving up that time, weekends, you find the time. And I think that's the important thing, is about prioritization and doing what matters and leading by example. So it's not just about me, but I also want my children to see, wow, mum's working hard and she's managing all this, and I want that inspiration to carry through,
Beautiful. So moving on, I'd love to know your personal journeys. So let me start with Sonali Ben. What was the pivotal moment that led you to transition from accounting to, focusing on your family, focusing on community service, focusing on Sewa? How did that all start?
In terms of Sewa, I've been doing it since childhood. So it's actually just now become second nature. It's part of my life,
yes.
That's constantly there. So that's not changed. But in terms of when I fell pregnant with my first one, I was in a fortunate enough position not to have to work to continue. And I just felt that the time that I have with my child is precious, and I would want to try and give as much to them as I can. I say them now because I've subsequently had 4 kids, so I'm a mom of 5. And hence, for me, it's quite important to be able to spend these, growing up foundational years with them. At 18, 19, they go off to university, and those are the years that are precious. So
it's interesting, I hear you have 5 kids, and I also have learned that you homeschool them.
yes.
How do you manage that all?
To be very honest, this year it's slightly different. They're not at home all the time, but for the past 3 years they were. It's been an interesting journey because obviously, it's the whole thought process of, okay, they're in school for this many number of hours. So even they are conditioned to know that, okay, this is where I get my studying or my education from.
Yes.
Home is for, chilling and relaxing. So that was one of the fears that I initially had. But I think seeing how the education system works or is failing. Sorry, Prem.
We have a teacher sitting next to us.
But with our personal research that my husband and I have done, we find that it's actually more beneficial for them to be at home at this point in our journey.
Beautiful. And reflecting on your work with the Abu Dhabi Mandir, and you've been so closely associated in the last 3 years that the Mandir has come up, which aspect of it has been the most fulfilling so far?
I think fulfilling is just being able to see it come to life. And at the start of the journey, it was a very difficult process for us to go out and explain to people when we were trying to, just make them aware of this temple coming up, that it is not an exclusively BAPS temple. This was a big issue that we faced, where people were of the understanding that it was only going to be for the BAPS devotees.
Yes.
So we wanted to change that mindset. Now, 5 years later, when we see all the communities are coming in, they've understood that it is a fully open temple. It is not only a BAPS temple. This for us, I think, is the greatest achievement that, we've been able to bring
Yes.
the entire community together.
Yes.
So personally,
Absolutely,
that's
beautiful. And outside of your commitments, what are some passions or hobbies do you pursue? Or no time for them?
honestly, at this stage of my life, I do not actually have time for anything
Yes.
else, but I find immense contentment in my Sewa, in spending time with the kids. And like with everything in life, it's a passing phase. The season will change. But at this point, I'm quite, devoted to just the kids and the temple at the moment.
Beautiful. And looking to the future, what is the legacy you want to leave behind for your kids and
So-
the community overall?
In order to look forward, I would like to look back. My father-in-law has left us very big shoes to fill. I don't think it's actually possible to fill what he's left behind. But his thought process, his teachings were always stay together. The family has to take first priority. Whatever you want to be involved in, involve yourself 110% in. Give as much as you can to those in need. Never show off about it. Never let anybody else know what you've done. You do it with no expectations. And I just wish that my children can follow that and fulfill that legacy. So for me personally, it's more like I just want to be that key or the connection between the past and the future, and hope that they fulfill it as well.
Well, I'm sure they're on your footsteps because I did see two of them volunteering that day, right? And
Yes,
they do
they-
spend their time at the temple, and getting into your shoes is hard.
I hope they continue doing so.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, moving on to I'd love to know more about you. So you used to work as a producer at the BBC, and then you moved on to the line of teaching at a British school. How did that happen?
So my actual background was in media, broadcast journalism, and so I started with actually children's BBC, and then I worked my way up into Top of the Pops. It's entertainment, Top of the Pops Saturday. So a lot of my job consisted of interviewing celebrities like 50 Cent and Usher and all
Wow.
these interesting people. However, when I had my daughter, so I couldn't go and travel. And then I made a decision of actually she comes first. So I put that career aside and stayed at home for a while, being a mum to her and my other daughter. And then I thought, right, what do I do? And often women get to that point in their life, where they need something for themselves.
Yes.
And I thought, let me retrain to go into education and be a teacher, thinking it would be great because I'll get the holidays.
Yes,
And what an easy
and-
job. I tell you now, it's the hardest thing I've ever had to do. So then training to be a teacher, but I loved it because being with the students, there's no other feeling like it. And helping others, like children, grow and think and learn and utilize their brains to their full capacity, gave a lot of joy. And then I could also be there for my girls. Eventually, I decided that I'm going to move over to Dubai. So I did a lot of leadership training and training other teachers. But my move to Dubai was also an interesting one because I randomly decided, let's try closing your eyes, looking at a screen of a map, pointing somewhere, and think whichever country it lands in, let's just try apply for a job there. Let's see what happens. I really believed in fate and destiny. Anyway, it landed on Dubai, and then I applied, got the job, and then I spoke to my husband, who thought I had gone mad. He's like, "What are you doing?
Moving
And I was
countries,
like,
just
yeah. Would you like to move?" And he's like, "Not quite sure." Anyway, got the job offer. We moved, and he also was happy to be here. So I moved with my daughters. But the thing, like I said before, the only thing that was bothering me is, will I have my chance to go to the Mandir? And it just happened to be that 6 months after I'd heard that there was going to be a Mandir, a BAPS Mandir built here. That's when I knew this was home. And ever since then, it's been brilliant. So I'm managing my career, but also to getting a chance to do Sewa in what is making history, really.
You are.
Yeah.
It's a lotus in the desert which is coming up like a miracle, isn't
Yes,
it? I think miracles don't happen in a millennium, and this one's happening right in front of our eyes, isn't it?
Yes.
So, how has managing a project of such a scale, impacted your personal and professional skills, and how have you used everything that you've learned over the years in this temple project?
Sure. Well, I'm quite an introvert normally. So, in terms of my job as a senior leader in a school, to be fair, I am female and I'm a person of colour in a British school. It might not matter, but actually it does. So that has kind of shown me that, we need to stand strong and we need to do what we believe in. So the leadership skills, because there's about 100 staff under me, that has helped me transition into what I'm doing at the Mandir. So helping with the communication skills, making sure that everyone's aligned. It is like project management to a certain extent.
Exactly, it is, and at a big scale, isn't it?
Yeah, very big
yes.
scale. Liaising with people. So you learn so many skills along the way, and they're all transferable.
Absolutely. And beyond the Mandir project, what are your personal achievements, experiences, interests?
Interests. I love literature, so I love poetry and reading and travel. And a big achievement, I think, having your children and the career and being a leader and managing all of that is an achievement in itself. But I think the biggest achievement is being able to be a part of history, and doing that Sewa when it matters the most, and being able to bring a community or multiple communities and religions together. That's a massive achievement, and I think being a part of that journey is the biggest achievement.
So moving on to the big event, right? The Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, he's coming down specifically for the inauguration of the temple. What significance does this hold for us?
I mean, it's fantastic. He's coming to inaugurate the temple, and why that matters so much is the UAE has one of the largest Indian populations of expats within their country. So not only does the Mandir is home from home, but the fact that Prime Minister is coming to inaugurate it means so much to all of the Indian people and diaspora here, which is fantastic. They're all excited.
What preparations are in place to welcome the Prime Minister? How are you preparing for the whole event?
So all the volunteers, right from the kids up to the adults, are so excited to be able to receive the PM at the temple. The kids have painted little marble pieces from the actual temple, with messages of peace, love, and harmony, because this is what we want to, the value systems that we want to spread around. So they have been quite involved in doing that, and certain preparations, on how to welcome him. The volunteers are so excited. A lot of them have just gone out and, gotten new clothes made for the actual arrival on the day for the PM. So there's a lot of excitement and a lot of buzz surrounding the fact that he will be coming on the 14th.
Absolutely. I think it really shows how strong the ties are between India and the UAE that our Prime Minister is coming down for this special memorable event. And I think all the UAE residents who've been a part of the journey in the last few years will never forget it. I will never forget it. And I think I'm glad my children are going to visit the temple soon and be a part of this history and landmark event. We are moving to a very exciting round, and this one is called Direct Dil Se, or the rapid fire round. This one comes directly from your heart, so the answers are quick and one line, one sentence, whatever comes to your mind. What one word to describe the BAPS Hindu Mandir?
Serenity.
Unimaginable.
One lesson volunteering has taught you.
Humility, for sure. No matter where you can be, in the joy of others lies our own, is what Prabhu Swami Maharaj used to say, and that teaches you absolute humility.
A skill that you've gained through your volunteer work.
Humility, also.
A dream project you wish to undertake at the Mandir now that the Mandir is here. And I'm sure there's lots of things planned in the future also.
I think just to see how we can involve the next generation more actively.
Beautiful. A historical figure you admire for their service to humanity.
Prabhu Swami Maharaj, who is the inspirer behind this mandir, but also like Sonali Ben said, it's in the joy of other lies your own. That saying is universal, and I think that imbibes him and he inspires me.
The most memorable event you've witnessed so far at the temple? The best one is yet to come, but yes.
So I think the most special moment was when there was a sound check at the temple 2-3 days ago, and the arti was being played and it was echoing through the sands of the desert. And thus far, we had only heard it sort of indoors, in our nuclear family situations. So that was a very, very special moment.
The best time of the day for meditation or prayers, in your opinion?
Morning, according to scriptures, however, any time of day, if you can carve out any time, that's the most important thing.
It's been lovely chatting to you ladies and lovely getting to know you. I'd love to come to the close of the show and your words of advice for everybody who's looking forward to visit the BAPS Abu Dhabi Mandir when it opens to the public on 1st of March. What's your message to everyone out there?
Personally, I would say that you have to come there to experience it. And that's the only way to know the power of the place. And everybody is welcome. There's always open doors, and we will be happily receiving everybody that wants to come.
Would you like to add something?
Absolutely. Come with joy in your heart. Take in everything possible and use all of your senses, because you will hopefully feel like you have transcended, and it's a beautiful feeling.
So everyone is welcome and come with love in your hearts is the message of these volunteers from the BAPS Abu Dhabi Mandir. The temple will open to the public on the 1st of March. Please do visit it with your friends and family. It's something you cannot miss. And it's a miracle in the desert, a lotus rising on from there. You can follow their Instagram page for more updates coming up from the temple. If you like this podcast, please like, share and subscribe to our channel. And we'll be back with another Women of Wonder very soon. Jai Swaminarayan.